Okay, greetings and welcome to the Second Sign of Madness, a follow-up to tonight's earlier stream where we started by looking at some videos that have been put up on the channel of COVID Vids, which made me question, some of the practices that go on with organ donation. And in that stream I said, we'll look at the claims made by this doctor, whose name I haven't been able to find out yet, and we'll have a look. And I never actually got round to having a look to see if what the claims made were actually true. So this is what we're doing this evening. And yes, just going to be a short one, just to actually have a look. Yeah, the claims made would suggest that regardless of whether you... Now, this guy is a doctor in America, we'll say. However, the World Health Organization, any nation that donates to that cause, pays to be a member, means that they're all following the same medical practices, pretty much. They're all doing the same thing. So, yeah, the products they sell are going to be from the same people and the same companies. Okay, so if you didn't catch our live stream earlier, which would pretty much be everyone, I think, then I invite you to check out some of the links in the description, as they do refer to what we looked at earlier. One of it is this is some of the claims made by this as yet unnamed doctor, where he talks about how organs can only be taken from living, from living bodies. They can't take them from what he describes as cadaver, which means dead bodies. And I thought, is that right? So that was one thing we're going to look at in this follow-up to our earlier live stream. As well as in the pre-show, we watched a deposition by Stanley Plotkin, where he had to give his advice on whether a child should be vaccinated or not. And yeah, I shared a link to a channel that's got it in hourly segments, although 2 of them are missing. I've actually now, grateful to say, I found it all in one place. So we will have I'll make sure that you guys, and what I am actually thinking, these Thursday live streams, Sunday was always my usual evening to do live streams, so I'm planning on coming back this Sunday to do like a watch along with this deposition, which we'll have a look at before we leave tonight. So is this claim true? Let's find you're not obviously you're not going to be able to hear the audio just now. If you want to see this video, let's see if I can put subtitles up, and you can hear what he says, or at least read what he says. Although I'm not seeing him on the screen actually, so who knows on that one. But yeah, definitely recommend watching these videos. Yeah, there's my question: who is the doctor speaking to? COVID Vids, who put this video up. Yeah, some unpleasant things this man has to say. So I thought I'd look up, can organs be taken from the dead? According to the first result on Bing, organs can be taken from a dead person if the person has been declared brain dead and their brain stem is dead. Organ donation and transplant allows a deceased or living donor to give life to another. Surgeons remove a healthy organ from a donor who doesn't need it and transfer it to someone else who does. Organs that they can transplant include liver, blah, blah, blah. However, only 1 to 2% of people who die can be considered for organ donation. Obviously, like the very elderly, anyone that's had organ failure, I guess, wouldn't be deemed, eligible. In the case if you are, okay, the rules, hang on, let's read this final part. The rules to be followed whilst harvesting organs from a dead person and transplanting them are codified by the Transplantation of Human Organs Act 1994 and its subsequent amendments. This is obviously here in the United Kingdom. This person here speaking, he talks about how he worked on a baby and he was told to stop working on it, but refused. We can just about see the text at the top. I seriously recommend watching this video anyway. Links are in the description. And he makes the claim that he was told to stop working on an 18-month-old or a young baby. Refused, and that baby's now grown up and has a family of his own. And had he listened to the doctor that declared him brain dead, they would have just taken the organs out of the poor person. And this person exposes the act of brain death. He questions brain death, basically, saying it's just a convenient way where they can... make some very interesting point. He reminds me, as I say, of Stanley Plotkin. Let me find that particular video, because this is going to be one that we're going to look at closer over time. Now, hopefully you're content with the first answer to be taken from Bing. If you're not, we can certainly look closer at that. Where is it? I found this let me just bring my display back up. This here is we're not going to obviously watch 9 hours now. Very fortunately, someone has put some key points in the comment section where in the pre-show we watched about 20 minutes of this video, where he first of all starts by saying how he talks about a independent advisory board called Voices for Vaccines, and claims that they're not funded by any pharmaceutical companies, otherwise that would of course be a conflict of interest. Only for the person questioning him to pretty much have to admit, he points out that actually, this Voices for Vaccine person who this guy actually set up, or he was instrumental in setting it up, he also receives massive funding from pharmaceutical companies. It makes an interesting video. A lot of it, some of it, is just them fiddling with their paperwork, waiting for emails to come through, discussing like arrangements for what time they'll be, because I'm not sure if this was done in one sitting, but we are gonna maybe on Sunday tackle it and maybe read his body language, see how his arguments stack up against those who those again, how him and his legal advisor. That's something we're going to do from Sunday, okay? Obviously won't do it in one live stream, that would be absolutely ridiculous, but maybe I'll be going back to Sunday evening live streams, I think. I got to a point where my schedule wouldn't allow me, it was difficult to do Sunday live streams, but that shouldn't be so much of a issue this coming Sunday. Right, I'm going to put that in the live chat, a link to the video we just saw. 9-hour deposition. I will, of course, put it in the link in the description. Let me spell his surname correctly. Obviously, not a very pleasant subject, but I think it's worthy of knowing, because part one of this video was called Are You In? It was asking the question, looking at, let me bring up the thumbnail we used for tonight's video. We looked at donor cards and the relevance they have and whether they're accepted, and we said, are you in? But it turns out you are in, yes, as we looked into The laws in this country, they have what they claim is a soft opt-in, meaning, well, they end up asking your family whether or not you've got one of these cards. They're no longer required. You don't have to volunteer your organs unless members of your family specifically refuse. Although the information we saw did actually claim that they could still take the organs even if the family didn't want them to, you know. It can be overruled. Let's if you weren't with us in the earlier live stream, we'll just go back to our display once more just to confirm that. Soft opt-out organ donation is a system where family members are consulted prior to organ donation. I hope you can read that all right, and their wishes are honoured. In contrast, hard opt-out systems as practiced in Austria and Singapore presumes that the donor has consented for organ donation unless registered to the contrary, and donation proceeds regardless of their family's wishes, which when you then see the video done by, put up by COVID Vids, as his channel's called, you realise, you know, what they class as cadaver might not be that straight. So in fact, yeah, this doctor who I'm trying to find out the name of, hopefully I'll find that out before the next live stream, he questions the legitimacy of brain death and says that the world of anything on this subject, obviously contentious, obviously unpleasant, upsetting, distressing, as is some of the subjects that come up in the deposition of Stanley Plotkins. However, that's what I plan to do in my next stream, Sunday evening. I do hope you can join us, even if you couldn't this evening. At our very quick look, which I was going to do in the earlier part of the stream, we came to the conclusion that this guy's absolutely right when he says that even if a body, you know, the heart's still beating, so long as so long as they can claim that the brain's dead, then they're free to just cut you open while you're still alive and remove your bits. Nasty stuff. Unpleasant. So this statement that we find on donor cards, which obviously, due to them now assuming that everyone's opted in unless they specifically say otherwise, or the family members wish, you know, you tell your family member that you don't want it, you'll be considered in. I just wanted to follow up because I realised I ended the stream without looking into that question. But yeah, unfortunately, you are in, it would seem. Okay. Right, yeah, so back Sunday evening. Hope you can join us for that one. We'll be looking at the body language of Stanley Plotkins. We'll just have a quick preview of that now, and you can see him taking his oath. Oh, did we miss it? Hang on. Where I think he clearly says he's an atheist in this video. Where's subtitles? Oh, they're not available, unfortunately. And it even involves him talking about Catholics. Apparently he said he's prepared to go to hell, because anyone worried that what he's doing is against the commandments of the Holy Scriptures, the commandments of God, where we're told, taking of blood, aborting fetuses for the purpose of medical advancements isn't really a very nice thing to do. He said, you guys carry on using the product, I'll go to hell for you, basically. Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff comes up. Maybe we'll have a look at a quick... yeah, okay. We've got a point here, 7:50:56. This is... I'll actually put the audio on for this one. And yeah, this is an example of some of what we'll be looking at on Sunday evening. Yeah, the body language says a lot. Sometimes we'll cover it on Sunday. Obviously, this guy had to sit in a room and answer these. Sometimes tricky. We'll cover it. We've got on Sunday. Obviously, this guy had to sit in a room and... Let me sort that out a minute. Okay. Well, we'll listen to this soundbite, as unpleasant as it may be.
Yes.
Oh, missed it.
Okay.
Have you ever used orphans to study an experimental vaccine?
Yes.
Have you ever used the mentally handicapped to study an experimental vaccine?
I don't recollect ever doing studies in mentally handicapped.
It's not really the sort of thing you're going to forget, is it? You wouldn't have to try and bring that to mind if you knew you were doing a study on a person with, as they describe him, mentally handicapped. I don't think it's the sort of thing you would struggle to call to mind. That's just me. Perhaps I'm wrong on that. We'll just watch a couple more minutes of it, or a couple more seconds of it, because there's a lot of really gruesome but extremely interesting information that comes from this deposition.
Individuals. At the time, in the 1960s, it was not an uncommon practice.
So,
Just to point out there, he was asked about testing on mentally handicapped people. He struggled to remember, covered his mouth a lot, didn't say anything, and then said, but back in the 1960s, it wasn't an unusual thing to do that. Great. What a lovely person this guy is. Yeah, we'll see how we get on. I hope you can tune in Sunday for my first attempt at a watch-along. Stanley Plotkin's vaccine deposition under oath, 9 hours full video. Hope you can make it. Which is more than can be said for this evening, yeah. Okay, we are over and out for the second sign of madness. I'm going to put our music back on and wish you all a wonderful weekend. Sabbath day coming up on tomorrow, Sunday. I hope you have a very restful day. I know I will be. Yeah, I will bid you a great weekend. Okay. Oh, final thing I guess I would ask, if anyone wants to, before they leave tonight, hit the thumb up button, subscribing and sharing if you feel the need. If not, hey, no probs. Okay, take care, have a great weekend. Over and out. Good.